They mocked a human commander. They said she didn't belong in their galaxy. They laughed when she stood in their war room. They whispered she was nothing but Earth's pretty face in a uniform. But what they didn't know was that she carried a plan so dangerous, so reckless, that it would either save billions or wipe out everyone in this room before sunrise. And when the last shot was fired, there'd be no one left to warn them. Welcome to Predator Protocol, where we bring you the most dangerous, most human stories in the galaxy. I'm your narrator, your voice inside the void, guiding you through tales the aliens pray you never hear. Now, let's begin the story. The hangar was alive with the sound of boots and alien feet on steel floors. Engines hummed in the background, and above it all, the great American flag hung like a dare to the rest of the galaxy. Commander Elena Cross walked in. Silver coat fitted like it was made to break regulations, black gloves in her hands, short, dark hair framing a face that could smile or kill with equal skill. Her heels clicked against the deck, each step sharp enough to cut through the chatter. Every alien in the room turned, and almost everyone smirked. Some tried to hide it. Most didn't bother. They had heard the stories. Humans, unpredictable, loud, emotional creatures. They said humans couldn't lead serious operations. They said humans cracked under real pressure. And yet, here she was, standing in the middle of the largest fleet hangar in the Galactic Alliance. Assigned to lead a mission no one else wanted to touch. A tall, insectoid general leaned toward his scaly companion. His mandibles clicked in amusement. "She's small," he whispered, loud enough for others to hear. "Maybe she bites?" Elena stopped, turned her head just enough for her eyes to lock on his. "Careful, General," she said softly. "I bite in all the right places." A few alien soldiers chuckled. Some stared, confused, unsure if she was threatening or flirting. The truth was both. Her orders had been clear. Take a small fleet. Intercept the Drakvor warlord before his armada reached the border worlds. No reinforcements, no second chances. And the fleet she was given? Half-trained crews, outdated ships, and a handful of alien captains who'd rather see her fail. She walked up the main platform, eyes scanning the rows of soldiers. The humans in the room were few, barely a dozen among hundreds of alien troops. But those dozen stood straighter when she passed. She stopped in front of the command table, where a cluster of alien officers stood over a holographic map. One of them, a broad-shouldered reptilian captain, didn't bother to hide his grin. "I give you 10 minutes, he said, tapping a claw on the table, "before you run crying back to your ship." Elena stepped close, her voice dropping low. 10 minutes? You're sweet." She leaned just enough for her breath to brush his ear. "I usually last much longer." His grin faltered, just a little. She turned away before he could reply, her heels clicking in the sudden silence. She knew exactly what they were thinking, that she was here because of some political stunt, or because the council thought it would be amusing to see a human try. They didn't know the truth. The truth was, the council hadn't chosen her. The council had tried to keep her out. But someone powerful, had overruled them. And that someone had given her one order: finish this, your way. She pulled up the mission display. The Drakvor fleet was 3 days out, maybe 2 if they pushed hard. Her plan had to work. There would be no second strike. A voice from the back of the room cut through the hum. "You think you can take him?" It was a younger alien pilot, his tone dripping disbelief. Lena turned slowly, her lips curling in a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I don't think," she said. "I know." She let the pause hang in the air. Then she added, "And when I do, I'll make sure he knows exactly who beat him." Somewhere, deep in the hangar, an alarm pulsed. Her comm officer's voice came through the intercom. "Commander, incoming message from the Drakvor flagship." The room shifted. Every alien soldier straightened. not out of respect for her, but for the fear of the name Drakvor. She walked to the comm station. The screen lit up with the warlord's face, armored, scarred, eyes like molten gold. "Human," he said, his voice slow and deep. "I hear they sent you to stop me." He smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "Tell me, are you here to fight me or to entertain me?" She leaned closer to the screen, her voice a whisper the whole hangar could hear. "Why not both?" A few gasps, a few muffled laughs. The warlord's smile twitched, not quite a frown, but close. "Then I will enjoy breaking you," he said. And the transmission cut. The hangar was silent. All eyes were on her. She straightened, pulling on her gloves one finger at a time. "Get to your ships," she said. "We launch in 1 hour." No one moved. They were waiting to see if she would crack, waiting to see if the human was just a mouth with no bite. She gave them one last look, and then, with a voice that carried across the entire hangar, she said, "When this is over, someone will be begging. The only question is..." She paused, a slow, knowing smile playing at her lips. "Which one of us will enjoy it more?" The hangar exploded into movement. Boots pounded, engines warmed, voices shouted over one another. Yet through the chaos, every alien soldier still stole a glance at her. Some with doubt, some with curiosity, some with something else entirely. Elena walked toward her personal ship, the Black Swan. Sleek, fast, dangerous. Her crew was already waiting at the base of the ramp. Lieutenant Nant Harkin, the only other human officer, saluted. "Ma'am," he said, smirking, "you just made half the hangar want to kill you, and the other half want to..." She cut him off with a raised eyebrow. "Finish that sentence, Lieutenant, and I'll make you regret it." His grin only widened. "Yes, ma'am." Inside the ship, the atmosphere changed. The dim lights, the hum of systems. It felt alive, ready for whatever insanity she was about to throw it into. Her alien navigator, a lean, silver-skinned woman named Vera, spoke without looking up. "Commander, I checked the betting board before we left. They're still putting money on you lasting less than 15 minutes. Elena dropped into her command chair. "Good. Let them think that. Makes it more fun when I go past 20. The ship lifted, sliding out of the hangar into the black ocean of space. Her small strike fleet followed, 10 ships in all, each carrying crews who didn't quite believe in her yet. The comm crackled. "Commander Cross," came a voice, one of the skeptical alien captains. "With all respect, what's your plan? Or do humans just improvise until they die?" She smiled at the insult. "Oh, Captain, dying isn't on my list today, but killing a certain warlord? That's right at the top." There was silence on the channel. She could almost hear him rolling his alien eyes. Vera leaned in. "You're not going to tell them the plan, are you?" Elena tilted her head, watching the stars slide past the viewports. "Not yet. The less they know, the less they can ruin." Hours passed. The fleet crossed into contested space. Drakvor patrol ships shadowed them from a distance, not attacking, just watching. It was a game, a slow, dangerous dance. At one point, Harkin walked to her seat, leaning a little too close. "You know, Commander, if you wanted to scare them, you could just wear that coat and nothing else." She did. Didn't even look at him. "Lieutenant, the day I do that, you'll be the first to die." He grinned. "Worth it." The proximity alarm blared. Vera's voice was sharp. "Multiple contacts. Big ones." Elena stood, stepping toward the main display. The screen filled with shapes, massive Drakvor war cruisers, blocking the route ahead. They weren't moving to attack. They were waiting. A new voice came over the comm. Smooth, deep, dripping arrogance. "Human, the warlord has given me permission to greet you before we destroy you." Elena leaned forward, her voice calm. "That's sweet. I didn't bring flowers, but I did bring something that explodes." The alien chuckled, low and cruel. "Oh, I like you, human. I'll enjoy breaking your ship before I break you. Her eyes narrowed. We'll see who breaks who. The comm went dead. Her crew looked to her, waiting for orders. She turned to the fleet channel. All ships, prepare to execute Black Swan Protocol. There was a pause. One of the alien captains demanded, "What is that? I've never heard of it." Elena's lips curved into a smile. "You wouldn't have—" "I made it up 5 minutes ago." Gasps, protests. She ignored them, walking back to her seat. "On my mark," she said softly. "We're going to do something no alien would ever dare." The fleet's engines roared to full power. Her eyes locked on the enemy flagship. In seconds, they would either break through or die spectacularly. She counted down. 3, 2, 1. Punch it. The ship surged forward, straight into the heart of the Drakvor formation. The fleet tore through the void like a silver spear. Alien crews shouted in panic, trying to understand why a human was charging head-on into a wall of warships. It didn't make sense. That was the point. On the Black Swan, the crew braced as enemy targeting locks lit up the sensors. Red warnings flashed across every screen. One hit from those cruisers, and they'd be dust. Lieutenant Harkin gripped the railing. "You know, in human history, running toward the guns usually ends badly." Elena didn't look at him. In history, it also wins wars. The enemy ships began to fire. Blinding beams of energy tore through space, barely missing their lead ship. One blast skimmed the Black Swan's shields. The whole vessel shook, metal groaning. Vera hissed, "Shields won't last like this!" Elena's voice was calm. "They don't need to. We just have to get close enough." Close enough? For what? No one asked. They didn't dare. The Drakvor commander opened a comm channel again, laughing. "Humans, you are insane. But I like insane. Makes killing you more exciting." Elena leaned forward, her voice a low purr. "Funny. I was about to say the same thing." She cut the channel before he could answer. Her fingers danced over the controls, not to fire weapons, but to release something small. Dozens of small metallic pods sliding from the Black Swan's underbelly. Harkin blinked. "Drones?" "Decoys," she said. 50 of them, each broadcasting our exact heat signature. Within seconds, the Drakvor weapons locked onto the wrong targets, tearing into their own fleet as the chaos began. One alien captain's voice broke through comms. "Commander, their ships are hitting each other." "I noticed," she said, lips curling. "It's cute when they fight over me." Her own crew couldn't hide their grins anymore. The human wasn't just reckless. She was dangerous, and they were starting to like it. They punched deeper into enemy space, weaving between explosions and spinning debris. The fleet split into 3 groups, as per her secret plan. Vera's eyes went wide. "Wait, you're sending Group 3 behind the enemy flagship?" "Exactly," Elena said, "because that's where the fun starts." Harkin tilted his head. "Define fun in human terms, Commander." She smirked. "You'll know, if we survive the next 3 minutes." The comms erupted with shouts as enemy ships tried to regroup. But the Drakvor ain't built for this kind of fight. Humans had a word for it. Chaos. And Elena was the queen of it. Suddenly, the sensors screamed. A massive shadow emerged from behind the enemy line. It wasn't just another cruiser. It was the warlord's own flagship, twice the size of anything else in the field, its guns already locked on them. Her crew froze. Even the alien officers stopped breathing. Harkin whispered, "Well, that's a big one." Elena leaned back in her chair, eyes never leaving the display. "You know what they say?" she murmured. "The bigger they are..." The flagship's first blast lit up the void, a beam so bright it turned space into daylight. It missed, barely. Elena's voice came sharp, deadly serious. "All ships, stay with me. We're not turning back." Vera turned in disbelief. "You're going to try to take it?" Elena's smile was slow and dangerous. Why not? I've always liked a big challenge. The crew exchanged glances, half terrified, half thrilled. The enemy flagship loomed closer, its guns charging for another shot. And then, Elena stood. Her hands rested on the console. "Prepare boarding teams," she said softly. "We're going inside." The Black Swan cut through enemy fire, weaving like it was born for danger. Behind it, the rest of the strike fleet pushed in, shields screaming under the pressure. No sane captain would get this close to the Drakvor flagship. But Elena Cross had never been accused of sanity. Her voice carried across the comm channel to all ships. Group 3, loop around their engines. Group 2, hit their shield generators. Group 1, with me. The closer they got, the bigger the warlord's ship seemed. Black armor plating, like a mountain drifting through space, and in the middle, a massive docking bay yawning open. Harkin's voice cracked. "That's an invitation, right?" Elena smiled without looking at him. "Only if you like dangerous dates." Vera frowned. "Commander, you do know we're outnumbered inside?" Elena shrugged. "Darling, I'm always outnumbered. Makes it more interesting." The Black Swan dove into the docking bay, engines roaring. Alien soldiers were already waiting on the platform, dozens of them, armed and ready. They expected a messy firefight. They didn't expect her. The moment the ramp lowered, Elena stepped out first, not hiding behind cover, not in bulky armor. Just her silver command coat, black gloves, and that slow, confident walk that made even hostile eyes linger. A Drakvor officer stepped forward, his scaled face twisting in a grin. "You must be the human commander, the one who thinks she can win." Elena tilted her head, giving him a look that could melt steel. "I don't think I can win," she said softly. "I know I can." He chuckled darkly. "You'll be dead in minutes." She stepped closer, close enough to see the pulse in his neck. "Then I'd better make those minutes unforgettable." For a moment, he actually forgot to speak. Then his soldiers stepped forward, weapons raised. Harkin's voice came from behind her. "Commander, your plan?" She didn't turn. "We're going straight to the bridge." Vera hissed. "Through them?" Elena smiled. "Yes, through them." Without another word, she moved. Fast, precise, her sidearm flashing in the dim light. Her crew followed, blasters roaring. The hangar erupted into chaos. Drakvor soldiers fell back, shouting orders. But Elena's team moved like water, slipping through the gaps, forcing them to react instead of control. Halfway across the bay, an explosion rocked the deck. One of the fleet's other ships had blown a side entrance open, sending more humans and alien allies spilling in. The officer she'd spoken to earlier staggered, smoke curling around him. "You can't win here, human!" he shouted over the noise. She met his gaze and laughed, not cruel, not mocking, but amused. "Sweetheart, I'm not here to weed in. I'm here to make history." Her crew blasted open the inner door, revealing the dark corridor leading toward the flagship's command decks. The lights inside flickered ominously. Every shadow felt like a trap. She glanced at Harkin, that smirk still playing on her lips. "After you, Lieutenant. Unless you're scared of the dark." He grinned. "With you? Never." They stepped inside, the door sealing shut behind them. The sound of the battle in the hangar faded, replaced by the low, constant hum of the enemy ship's heart. Somewhere ahead, the warlord was waiting, and Elena Cross was walking straight into his arms. The corridor felt alive. The walls hummed like they were breathing. Every step echoed, a reminder that the Drakvor flagship was no ordinary warship. It was a fortress. Elena led the way, her boots clicking against the metal. Behind her, Harkin and Vera kept their weapons ready. Somewhere far behind, the sounds of battle in the hangar still rumbled. But here, it was quiet. Too quiet. At the first intersection, 3 Drakvor soldiers stepped out. Their armor was heavy, their weapons larger than a human torso. The one in front hissed, Drop your guns, or drop dead. Elena didn't even slow down. She gave him one long look and said, "You first." Her sidearm flared. One shot to the shoulder, one to the knee. He crumpled. The others hesitated. That hesitation cost them. Harkin and Vera dropped them in seconds. They pushed forward. Every turn, more soldiers. Every skirmish, more ground taken. Harkin muttered, "It's like they're trying to slow us down, not stop us." Elena's lips curved. "Good. That means he's waiting for me." The he didn't need a name. Everyone knew who she meant. The warlord. The monster who burned colonies, shattered fleets, and laughed while doing it. They reached a large, circular chamber. The floor gleamed black, like polished stone. In the center stood a massive set of doors, tall enough to fit a small shuttle. Beyond them, the bridge. Two Drakvor guards blocked the way. One of them sneered. "The warlord will see you now, human." Harkin whispered, "Sounds like a trap." Elena smiled faintly. "Oh, it is. The fun kind." The guards stepped aside, letting the massive doors hiss open. Beyond them, the bridge glowed with golden light, and there he was. The warlord stood tall, easily 7 feet, in black armor traced with molten gold lines. His eyes locked on hers instantly, not with fear, not with hate, with interest. "You," he said, his voice deep enough to vibrate in her chest. "You are smaller than I expected." She stepped onto the bridge, each movement deliberate. "And you are exactly as tall as you need to be for me to look you in the eye when I beat you." A low rumble came from his throat. It might have been laughter, or something else. "You have spirit, human," he said. "I have broken warriors twice your size. Do you think your spirit will save you?" She tilted her head, that teasing smile curling again. "Maybe. Or maybe it'll just make you work harder." For a moment, neither moved. The bridge crew stayed frozen, unsure if they were watching a negotiation or foreplay before a war. The warlord stepped down from his command dais, slow and deliberate. "You came all this way, risked your fleet, just to face me?" Elena's eyes never left his. "Yes. I like to meet my enemies, before I ruin them." He stopped just a few steps away, close enough that the heat from his armor brushed her skin, close enough for the air to feel different. "And what," he asked softly, "makes you think you can ruin me, human?" Her lips parted, just slightly. "You'll find out, but not in the way you expect." The bridge lights flickered. Harkin's voice came sharp over the comm in her ear. "Commander, it's ready." The warlord's E. Yes, narrowed. "It?" he asked. "What's ready?" Elena's smile turned slow, dangerous, and maybe just a little wicked. "You'll see." The warlord's gaze stayed locked on her. Heavy, unblinking, like a predator trying to decide whether to eat or play. Elena didn't flinch, didn't blink. She only stepped closer, her voice calm enough to make it more dangerous. "You know, for someone with a fleet this big, you've left a lot of blind spots." His head tilted slightly. "Blind spots?" She glanced upward, toward the gleaming arcs of the bridge ceiling. "You keep your eyes on what's in front of you." Her lips curved. "And forget to watch what's behind you." Before he could reply, the bridge shook. Hard. A deep, echoing blast rolled through the ship. Alarms wailed. One of the Drakvor officers scrambled at his console. "Rear engine! Critical damage!" Another voice shouted. "Shield control! Offline!" The warlord's eyes narrowed. "What have you done, human?" Elena let the silence stretch for a moment, savoring it. Then she leaned in, close enough that only he could hear. "While you were staring at me, my people were crawling through your ship's guts." His armor creaked as his fists clenched. "You think sabotage will save you?" She straightened, her tone light, almost playful. "Oh, darling, it's not sabotage. It's foreplay." Even Harkin, listening from behind, almost choked, trying not to laugh. But the warlord's jaw flexed, his expression unreadable. Another violent shudder rocked the bridge. The main view screen lit up with the image of explosions tearing through the flagship's flank. One of the smaller Drakvor escorts spun out of control, slamming into another vessel in a bloom of fire. The warlord's voice dropped, almost a growl. "You're playing a dangerous game." She stepped right into his space, looking up at him without a trace of fear. "I don't play games. I win them." The lights flickered again, a warning siren shrieked, and then the sound no Drakvor captain ever wanted to hear. Hull breach detected. One of his crew shouted, "Deck 17 is venting atmosphere. Multiple casualties." The warlord turned back to Elena. "You could have killed me already. Yet here I stand." "Why?" Her eyes glinted. "Because I want you to watch it happen." Before he could speak, the comm in her ear crackled with Harkin's voice. "Commander, the last phase is ready. Waiting on your mark." The warlord stepped forward again, towering over her now. His voice was low, dangerous. "If you give that order, human, there will be no going back." She smiled. Slow, knowing, electric. That's the fun part. Her finger hovered over her wrist comm, the signal to trigger whatever she'd planted deep inside his ship. Her crew was ready. The fleet was waiting, and she was still looking him dead in the eyes. The warlord's massive form loomed over her, heat from his armor, the weight of his stare. It would have made most soldiers crumble. But Elena Cross only tilted her head, a faint smirk tugging at her lips. "You feel that? That little knot in your gut?" He didn't answer. "That's fear," she whispered, "and a little bit of curiosity." The bridge shook again, this time harder. Panels fell from the ceiling, sparks showering down. On the view screen, more of the warlord's fleet was burning. Harkin's voice came over her comm. "Commander, we can finish this. Your call." The warlord's jaw tightened. "If you destroy my ship now, the galaxy will never forgive you." Elena stepped closer, close enough to see her reflection in his molten gold eyes. "Sweetheart, I don't need the galaxy's forgiveness." She tapped her wrist comm. "Do it." The order was given. Far below the bridge, charges planted by her infiltration team detonated in sequence. The flagship's power core went into emergency shutdown. Weapons went dark. Shields collapsed. The great beast of a ship was suddenly naked. On the main display, the rest of her fleet moved in, surrounding the flagship like wolves around a bleeding prey. Every alien officer on the bridge looked to their warlord. For the first time, his eyes left hers. "Order your men to stand down," she said. He didn't move. She stepped even closer, now so near that her voice was a private echo between them. "You can still save them. All it costs is your pride." The silence was thick. Then, slowly, the warlord went down on one knee. His voice was low, but the bridge was silent enough for everyone to hear it. "Mercy." Her smile deepened, not cruel, but satisfied. "Say it louder." His gaze burned. "Mercy." The word rippled across the comm channels to every ship in the battle. The Drakvor stopped firing. The war was over. Elena turned to her crew, her coat swirling with the motion. "Secure the ship. Bring the prisoners. And someone..." She glanced back at the warlord. "Make sure he gets a front row seat when we tow his ship back to Earth." As her crew moved, Harkin leaned in with a grin. "Commander, you know the whole galaxy just saw that, right?" She smirked. "Good. Let them think twice before they underestimate a human again." The warlord watched her go, defeated, but with that strange look still in his eyes. Not just rage, but something else. Something he'd never felt in battle before.